Good evening, I'm Ces Orenia Drilon.
I'm Pauline Verzosa. And I'm Sean Yao.
The big stories tonight. The 200 peso legislated wage hike hurdling the House is no cause for celebration yet. This early, employers say it could kill businesses and ultimately cost workers their jobs altogether.
The campaign of the government to regulate social media gains ground. The MTRCB is poised to gain the power to censor streaming and digital content. There's also a proposal to compel online platforms to get a franchise before they can operate in the Philippines.
And the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte is still in limbo as the Senate and the House engage some more in a raging debate over where to take this political process next.
Salbabida para sa manggagawang nalulunod sa taas ng presyo ng bilihin, petrolyo, tubig at kuryente.
We have to make sure also that yung business will be able to survive. Baka kasi masyadong mabigat sa iba yan, especially for the small and medium scale businesses.
Sentiments are mixed on the 200 peso wage hike that just hurdled the House. For workers, it's a welcome reprieve, with prices of goods still on the rise. But for traders, this is just bad news. Gio Robles with tonight's big story.
Joanna Labaday can't hold back tears as she tells us how she stretches her 6,000 peso take-home pay every 15th and 30th of the month. She is a single mom of 4 children, working as security guard for a bakery in Quezon City. Food is where most of her pay goes to.
Mas priority talaga pagkain kasi konsumo yan araw-araw eh. Di ba pag walang pagkain, manghihina yung tao. Lalo na mga anak mo laging gutom, di ba? Kailangan lagi may pagkain.
But most of the time, she still can't make ends meet. Workers like Joanna, all minimum wage earners, stand to benefit from the 200 peso pay hike that the House of Representatives just passed.
An act providing for 200 pesos daily wage increase for the minimum wage workers in the private sector has having been approved on third reading. Maraming salamat po.
If the wage hike comes to pass, the current 645 peso minimum wage would go up to 845 pesos. This also means the monthly income of minimum wage earners would be augmented by at least 4,400 pesos. All contractual, subcontractual, agricultural, or non-agricultural workers will also be covered by the increase. Akbayan Party List Representative Percy Sindanya was among the 122 lawmakers who gave the nod to the wage hike, the first legislated increase in the country for almost 40 years.
Ang botong yes ay salbabida para sa manggagawang nalulunod sa taas ng presyo ng bilihin, taas ng presyo ng petrolyo, taas ng presyo ng tubig at taas ng presyo ng kuryente. Ang botong yes ay isang malaking good job para sa tiyaga at sakripisyo ng ating workforce. Dahil sila ang naging susi sa 5.4 GDP growth ng ating bansa noong 2024.
Gabriela Party List Representative Arlene Brosas also voted yes, but with reservations. That's because she is pushing for a 750 peso minimum wage hike to make the living wage of workers at par with Ibon Foundation's findings that a family of 5 should at least have 1,225 pesos per day to live decently. In February last year, the Senate also approved a similar bill with a daily minimum wage hike of 100 pesos. Senator Mig Zubiri, author of the wage bill in the upper chamber, sees no problem adopting the House's version, but he hopes amendments can be immediately tackled in the BICAM before sessions adjourn again. Senator J.V. Ejercito is also all for the wage hike, but is thinking of its impact on businesses.
We have to strike a balance always. We have to make sure also that yung business will be able to survive. Baka kasi masyadong mabigat sa iba yan, especially for the small and medium scale businesses.
Something the Employers Confederation of the Philippines, or ECOP, is worried about.
Pinakamababa minimum wage natin sa Pilipinas, pang-attract natin na investment. Ngayon, pinakamataas tayo din sa region. Tapos dadagdagan mo pa yan, sure pa mag-i-invest sa atin.
The Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry has reservations as well, saying the 200 peso wage hike has effects on the economy, on prices of goods and services, on workers in the informal sector who account for about half of the population, and on micro and small traders that comprise 96% of the total enterprises in the country. The Makati Business Club meantime emphasized how small business owners would have to raise costs from 31 to 44% just to accommodate the wage hike. Malacanang is taking note of all these concerns.
We will look at the economic implications of this and how to resolve this with the opinion of the wage boards, since the wage boards are also the creations of the Congress. So nais po ng Pangulo na maibigay kung ano po ang makakabuti sa mga manggagawang Pilipino. Titignan ng lahat ng aspeto at ang concerns ng lahat ng stakeholders.
For News 5, Gio Robles, we are One News.
On the macroeconomy, for the fourth time this year, the Philippine Statistics Authority recorded slower inflation. In the month of May, hikes in goods and services slowed down to 1.3%, slightly lower than April's 1.4%. What's notable, according to the PSA, is that this figure is the lowest since November of 2019. The PSA is attributing this to slower price hikes in housing, water, electricity, and gas and other fuels. Nevertheless, food items such as pork, chicken, and fish still contributed largely to inflation as their prices have yet to stabilize. Up north, prices of vegetables are record low, which is good news for consumers but a bane to farmers. In Kibungan, Benguet, chili, which once sold at 100 pesos per kilo, now only goes for 25 to 50 pesos per kilo. In the latest monitoring of Benguet Agri-Pinoy and Trading Center, cabbage and potato are also cheaper by more than half. The reason? Oversupply.
Dalawang plastic kanina ang dumating. Yung isa nabinta ko na. Pero wholesale 40 lang ang bigay ko. May 25, may 30, tapos no, gawa sa palaging umuulan, maraming nalulusaw kaya mas maraming natapon.
Parang wala pa kasing ngayon bagyo or mga kalamidad kaya maraming yung mga nagtanim. Ang problema namin is yung marketing niya kasi hindi yung sa oversupply sa buong pinagtitindahan namin or pinaglalagyan namin ng market namin or yung product namin.
Meanwhile, the debate continues on the fate of Vice President Sara Duterte's impeachment trial. Last night, we had Attorney Christian Monsod, one of the framers of the 1987 Constitution, saying that the Senate must act on Duterte's impeachment as this is mandated in the Constitution. Monsod, as well as other law experts, say that any move to stop the impeachment trial is illegal. Senators themselves also have conflicting views on the impeachment trial. Senator J.V. Ejercito is among those who believe the trial must proceed. But Senator Amy Marcos confirms that there is indeed a push to dismiss the impeachment complaint, and it's not only coming from allies of the Dutertes.
Mismo yung admin, sa palagay ko, interesado na mawalang bisa na yan kasi kinakabahan din na matalo. Aminin natin.
So, hindi lang po mga opo, pero pati mga taga-admin ayaw nang maituloy ito, Sen. Kaya kasama sila dun sa
yun lang ang duda. Yun lang ang suspecha ko. Di ba mas mahirap, mas nakakahiya kapag nagkaroon ng paglilitis at matalo? Ang akin lamang, ang duda ko, hindi lamang ang sinasabi o tinatawag na mga Duterte ang interesado sa pag-dismiss. Ang pakiramdam ko, mismo ang administrasyon ay may mga grupo na nagsasabi na wag nang ituloy at baka mapahiya lang sa numero.
A word war between the Senate and the lower house is also heating up. Yesterday, Senate President Francis Escudero, who has come under fire for the delay in the trial, accused House members of blind obedience to House Speaker Martin Romualdez. This as some House lawmakers continue to urge the Senate to proceed with the trial.
Wala pong inuutos sa amin si Speaker.
Hindi push yung trial.
Wala. Ang speaker ay ang leader namin dito sa Kamara. He is our source of guidance and inspiration. Pero sabi ko nga, at the end of the day, andyan po ang Constitution at kami po ang mga congressman, meron naman po kami kanya-kanyang pananaw. Hindi naman po magiging seasoned politicians yan kung the mere na susunod na lang po sila sa isang batas. Kailangan po ang desisyon natin at the end of the day nanggagaling po sa mandato ng taong bayan.
Sir, dinidiktahan po ba kayo ni Speaker?
Never po. Ako sa parte ko, bihirang-bihira kami magkita ni Speaker. Hindi po kami po sumunod sa taong bayan.
Our guest tonight is among those who have called out the Senate for the delay in the impeachment trial of VP Sara Duterte. Tonight, she joins us on The Big Story. Welcome to the program, Mamamayang Liberal Party List Representative-elect, Laila De Lima. Good evening to you and welcome to The Big Story.
Good evening, Cess, Sean, and Pauline, and the viewers of The Big Story. Good evening.
We'd like to start with the preparations of the prosecution panel. You've joined the team. Despite this raging debate, what have you done in terms of preparing for the trial?
Actually, Cess, I'm not yet officially a member of the prosecution panel. Yes, I was invited and I accepted it. But since I'm not yet officially a member of the House of Representatives, meaning I have not officially assumed office yet as a member of the House of Representatives, because this is still the 19th Congress, and I will be a member of the next Congress, 20th Congress, and so does Representative Siquijor. No. Yes, I have accepted it, but I have not really formally engaged yet with the rest of the members of the prosecution panel. But I can say that by now, the prosecution panel has really been preparing already. Hindi pa lang kami nakaka-attend ng meeting kami ni Representative Siquijor, because we have not yet been formally notified about any meeting of the prosecution panel.
All right, let's go to the complaint, the impeachment complaint that you had filed. In fact, was it last year that you had filed the complaint? The vice.
Yes, assess.
The Vice President brought a petition before the Supreme Court citing infirmities in the complaint, because citing that, the one-year ban might have been violated. What do you answer to this?
I do not understand that. There is no, as far as I know, there has been no applicability yet of this one-year prohibitive period, because the first complaint of which I am the spokesperson. I'm not really a complainant. I did not sign the first complaint, impeachment complaint, but I was designated as the spokesperson. Now that was filed in December, early December. So we don't talk yet here about the one-year prohibitive period. I don't understand what procedural lapses or procedural infirmity they have cited in their petition before the Supreme Court. As far as I know, and as far as I argue, there is no procedural infirmity of what has happened yet so far at the House level. Insofar as the House of Representatives is concerned, from where the articles of impeachment originated, there was nothing procedurally defective there, because the proceedings were actually sanctioned by the Constitution. Because instead of taking up the three complaints, all three complaints were filed in December 2024. Instead of taking up these three complaints, and therefore would still undergo a series of hearings before the proper committee, what was done by the House of Representatives as a body is to already adopt a verified complaint and signed and endorsed by the required number of votes in the Constitution, which is 1/3. And they were able to get more than 1/3, and that's about 215 yung mga pumirma dyan sa verified complaint na diniretso na sa Senado for trial supposedly. So nothing procedurally defective or questionable and more so unconstitutional at the level of the House of Representatives. What is looming to be unconstitutional is this what we hear about is going to happen probably in June 11 because of this alleged draft resolution being circulated now in social media that the office of Senator Bato de la Rosa admitted to have been the source of that draft resolution, which is so questionable as it is in violation of the Constitution.
All right. I'm asking about the procedure in the House because parang binabato pabalik sa House ang problema. Kasi hindi daw na-refer sa Justice Committee kaagad-agad. And so there was this possible infirmity. It's just, I guess, a battle of, I don't know, tit for tat. And we are all, you know, the people can be confused by what is happening. And the arguments can be parang ad nauseam na, parang, but perhaps let's go to the root of it. Why is this important para sa taong bayan po?
Napakahalaga po nito because we're talking here about accountability, pananagot. Na kung babasahin nyo yung verified complaint, lalo na yung articles of impeachment na na-transmit na sa Senado, at kahit basahin nyo rin po yung mga nandun sa first 3 complaints filed by various groups and endorsed by members of the House of Representatives, very substantive grounds. And the stated grounds are those recognized under the Constitution. Culpable violation of the Constitution, graft and corruption, betrayal of public trust, high crimes. So ang bala na lang doon yung treason and yung bribery. Pero all those that recognize grounds of the Constitution, nandyan. Grounds sila, kasama sila sa articles of impeachment. And the basis, the factual basis are also clear. And we, of course, maintain, although as I said, I'm not yet an official member of the prosecution panel, but from what I saw during the hearings at the House, the Quadcom hearings, the hearings sa Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability, sa budget hearings, at saka sa mga nakita ko ngayon so far sa records, because I have started already reviewing the records of the impeachment, even if I have not been officially notified yet about any meeting of the prosecution panel, ay malakas ang basehan. And this is about yung pananagutan. Kaya nga meron tayong impeachment. Yan ang special na proseso na linagay dyan sa Constitution para sa special set of high-ranking officials na hindi sila basta-basta mapapaalis, kundi sa pamamagitan lang ng process of impeachment. Kaya ito napakahalaga. Ito yung mga principles of truth, justice, and accountability. It's the principle also of checks and balances. So hindi pwede itong balewalain. Hindi pwede na ganyan ang ginagawa ng Senado. Hindi na natin alam kung ano talagang gagawin nila, yung mga pag-dribble nila, na talagang they violated already nung pagka-transmit pa lang sa kanila. Nung February 5, anong ginawa? Hintayin na lang muna natin na mag-resume kami yung sa June 2. Yun ang sabi nila because it was an electoral break. And then ngayon na naman, instead na ginawa nila nung June 2, riniset na naman nila sa June 11. And then ito may kumakalat na draft resolution na napapatay kung yan ay ma-adopt ng majority of the members of the Senate. That would kill the impeachment case, but it's an unconstitutional way of doing it. Kasi hindi pa sila nagko-convene as impeachment court. They have not constituted themselves as an impeachment court, and therefore they have no authority whatsoever to act on any matter related to impeachment. Lalo na yung pag-preempt nila sa pag-convene nila as impeachment court.
But if it's done after they are constituted as an impeachment court?
It would still be violative of the Constitution.
What would
because they have no option. The Senate, even when sitting as an impeachment court already, has no option except to continue with the trial, to hold the trial, continue the trial until final judgment, until they give their verdict of either conviction or acquittal. Wala pong option dyan ng Senado.
Okay, right
to
now...
ignore and dismiss. Yes.
But right now, Senator, it's only a draft, so hindi pa naman siya actually totoo. And now we all know about it and we're discussing it, so that's well and good. But if push comes to shove and may suporta itong resolution at naging tunay na resolution siya, what do you foresee happening? Ano yung kinakatakutan yung magyari?
Okay, sa June 11, assuming ganun nga po ang mangyayari, na they will formally introduce that resolution and then vote on it, and then required by baka sasabihin nila, simple majority lang ito kasi resolution lang ito. And so if makuha nila yung majority vote, then carried or adopted that resolution. So nakikinig-kinita ko, nasusunod, meron ngayon tatayo dyan and make a motion for adjournment sine die. And ordinarily, a motion to adjourn is non-debatable. So matatapos at that point. But mali, unconstitutional. Uwian na. And sasabihin na nila, let's wait for the next Congress in July 1. Kasi ito, 19th Congress hanggang June 30 pa. But adjourn na sila sine die. That's why ayaw na nila. Ayaw na nilang magtrabaho, ayaw na nilang gawin yan. So, pero sabi ko nga po kanina, hindi nila pwedeng gawin yan, hindi pa sila nagko-constitute as an impeachment court. Magiging what we call ultra vires act on the part of the Senate. Kung isusulong pa rin nila yung resolution na yan.
If they do it
yes,
once they are constituted as an impeachment court, parang wala nang puwang para gawin yon dahil impeachment court na sila. You're saying they do it more as in the plenary before they constitute themselves.
Correct. Yun ang kung makikita mo on the face of that draft resolution, they're not yet constituted as an impeachment court. So baka nga pilitin nila yan kahit hindi pa sila nagko-convene as an impeachment court. So maling-mali yun. And even if they do convene officially, for example lang, sa June 11, so mag-convene muna sila and mag-oath. And then the first thing that they will tackle is that particular resolution as an impeachment court. Now they can vote on that. But the next question is that legal? Is that constitutional? Again, I humbly and respectfully submit that it is still violative of the Constitution because, as I said earlier, they have no option to discontinue, to abandon, to stop, and to kill the impeachment. Their only constitutional duty is to hold trial and render judgment accordingly after
And
trial.
what's our recourse, Senator, taong bayan, no? Filipino citizens, bukod sa pupunta tayo sa EDSA, parang yung nangyari kay President Erap, what is the legal recourse? Pwede bang ipastop to sa SC? What's the...
Either way, I foresee already that either way, ay dadating ang issue sa Supreme Court, particularly on the issue on whether or not this can be carried over to the next Congress. And an impeachment process that was initiated in the current Congress, can this be carried over? Can it cross over the next Congress, which is the 20th Congress? So either way, ano yung desisyon ng... but they have to constitute first themselves as impeachment court. So they will either say, okay, we will continue. We will now issue the summons. We will now require the respondent, the impeached official, to file the verified answer within 10 days. And the defense the defense will most probably go to the Supreme Court and try to stop it again. Another petition would be filed by the camp of VP Sara. Questionin nila yan, na hindi nyo na pwedeng gawin yan kasi nag-adjourn na kayo sine-DA at lalo na pagpunta ng next Congress, hindi na rin pwedeng gawin yan. But if they will still insist on this so-called de facto dismissal of the impeachment case, then the prosecution would also have that option. Although I've always taken the position na hanggat maaari, hindi na dapat pinapa-intervene ang Supreme Court pagdating sa impeachment. Because the Senate as an impeachment court is supposed to be the sole judge, that it has this jurisdiction to try and decide exclusively cases of impeachment. But it doesn't mean absolutely na hindi na pwede ang Supreme Court makialam, especially if the matter, the action, for example, on the part of the Senate is clearly violative of the Constitution and constitutional, and that is more than a case of grave abuse of discretion, and therefore the Supreme Court can intervene.
Congressman Laila, pagdating po doon sa 7 articles of impeachment, which among them do you think holds the strongest or most compelling argument when you try the Vice President? And as you prepare to serve as one of the prosecutors, will you be requesting for a particular assignment?
Well, I cannot yet preempt the prosecution panel on what exactly would be my assignment if I officially become a member of the prosecution panel. Now, on your question of whether which articles are strongest, the first three, I would think the first three. The first was the open and public threats, the contracting of an assassin to kill the president, the speaker, and the first lady. That was open and public. Everybody saw that. If there was a big video, you know that ipipresenta lang yung video na yan, and then of course subject to the rules of authentication.
Sabi ni Sal Panelo, ang kadugtong nun, kung mamatay siya. So it wasn't...
Conditional daw.
It's still a threat. There's no such thing as conditional threat. It's still a threat. And is it proper for a very high-ranking official, the second highest official in the land, to be uttering those things? That is so unbecoming, and it shows unfitness. Yung mga ganyang asal, is that supposed to be the conduct of the second highest and most powerful official of the land? And then, of course, yung mga misuse, abuse of confidential funds. We saw a lot of that during the hearings. Hindi pa nga lahat yun. And then the bank accounts. So, of course, this would come under the exception of the secrecy of deposits, because there's a case. This is a case, especially this is an impeachment case, which is even superior over ordinary judicial, quasi-judicial, or administrative cases. So yun ang sa tingin ko, mga pinakamalakas. Kaya nga ang hiling lang po natin, and you also already that even the professors of the UP College of Law have already issued a statement calling for the holding of trial. Kasi malinaw din sa kanila, these are experts in law. Ang sabi nila, malinaw yung sinasabi ng saligang batas. Yung shall forthwith proceed. Napakalinaw kasi niyan. Forthwith proceed. And compared to the previous constitutions, the 1935 and the 1973 Constitution. Kasi yung dalawa na yun na Constitution, yes, meron din provisions on impeachment, pero wala pa yung phrase na yan. Shall forthwith proceed. Ngayon lang, sa 1987 Constitution meron.
Plus,
Kaya mahalaga.
In a way, it's a dangerous precedent for future public officers who can be impeached. I-delay mo na lang.
I-delay na delay. You are shielding that official from accountability. When this is all about accountability, ang hinihiling lang natin ituloy yung trial, tingnan ang ebidensya. Wala pa tayong sinasabi ngayon na i-convict na siya. Just begin the process because that is your constitutional duty. That is an imperative.
I've heard this, several senators say this, kung matatalo din naman, wag na lang.
Bakit yun po ang iisipin natin at this point? All this talk about numbers or possible numbers are plainly speculative at this point. Although, of course, naiisip din natin kung sino, nakikita na natin sa mga statements nila ngayon, nakikita natin kung sino yung mga inclined to vote for acquittal, lalo na yung acquittal. And I think even that, yung kahit siguro anong klaseng lakas ng ebidensya, and they will just blindly vote in favor of acquittal. Whereas as I said, irrelevant muna dapat at this point yung numbers.
Okay. Going
Let us
back
speculate on the numbers kung nandyan na yung mga ebidensya.
Going back
Yes.
to the first impeachment complaint filed against the Vice President, you were spokesperson. Bakit hindi po kayo pumirma doon?
Well, I just thought that I would have more leeway, more flexibility if I just act as the spokesperson. Although I was one with them, I perfectly agree, completely agree with the grounds stated there and the choice of the mode of impeachment. But I just preferred to be the spokesperson of the group.
Congresswoman, slightly connected to impeachment but not really, you will be joining Congress under a party list, mamamayang liberal. Ano po yung may expect naming mga alignments na gagawin ninyo once you're already sitting as a congresswoman? Are you going to be with the majority? Are you going to be with the minority? Are you going to stand independent? Although that's debatable if independence actually exists.
Okay, this is still under discussion within the Liberal Party and within the ML and within also certain allied groups like Akbayan and several other party lists. We are still discussing that. We had an initial meeting with several of the members of the House of Representatives, mostly re-electionists. And Akbayan was there also, ML was there, and 2 or 3 more party list representatives were there, and the others were district representatives. So there was initial discussion, but no decision yet. So at this point, we are eyeing the minority group status, but it's not yet final. Because the Liberal Party po, sa LP, tsaka sa ML, because ML is the sectoral arm of the Liberal Party. Now, in sa LP po, as much as possible, we would want sana that is a collective decision. There's a consensus.
Nagsabi na, if I may interrupt, na you are in support, two at least of the LP representatives are in support of Speaker Romualdez.
Okay, there has been no confirmation yet about that. Kung sino-sino yung sinasabi na I think yung sinasabi is that they were able to sign already this statement or manifesto of support for the leadership of Speaker Romualdez. But we have not confirmed that yet because, as I said, we're still discussing it within LP and ML and also with the minority, with the other groups that are, we can say, inclined to join the minority party and the minority group or the minority bloc in the House.
Finally, before we let you go, you are in a unusual position, because of what happened to you, having been jailed for so long and now in a position to exact retribution, revenge. It can be read that way. But what drove you to, because I recall when you said you were going to think about it and it seemed like the next day you had made up your mind. Ano po, what's driving you po to be part of the prosecution panel, despite, I'm sure, that was in your thought process?
If you look at Yes, if you look at my track record in public service, beginning with as chairperson of the Commission on Human Rights and later as Secretary of Justice under the Pinoy administration, and then as senator, I'm always focused on truth, justice, and accountability. So you can say that this is something natural for me to be able to help out, because the fact that they invited me, meaning the House leadership, invited me to be part of the prosecution panel, I would say that they probably think that I can contribute in any manner and on the aspect of exacting accountability from a high official. So it has nothing to do with any motivation of retribution, revenge, vendetta, or whatever. Some people may think that, and no matter what I say, they would also always think that way. But I can assure you that it has nothing to do with vendetta, vengeance, retribution. It's all about duty. I feel it is also my duty as an elected member of the House of Representatives, and with my background, that I would be able to contribute significantly in this process of exacting accountability.
Thank you, Party List Representative-elect. Hindi pa ako sanay tawagin kayong Congressman, Laila De Lima.
Hindi pa ako sanay marinig.
Marami
Thank
pong
you so
salamat.
much. Okay, good evening. Good evening, ladies. Thank you.
All right, we're just going to take a quick break, but coming up, there are now ways to make trade sustainable in the country. We introduce to you one company that's making that happen for MSMEs when the big story returns.
You're watching The Big Story here on One News. The Philippines is no stranger to extreme weather. In recent years, these climate hazards have grown more severe, underscoring the need for innovative solutions. The World Economic Forum emphasizes such climate risks are reshaping business realities, compelling industries to adapt. And here we spotlight companies that champion sustainable solutions. Welcome to Sustainability. Today we're joined by someone at the forefront of promoting sustainable trade in the Philippines. She played a key role in leading the Sustainability Solutions Exchange, which was featured in this year's IFEX Philippines Convention held last May. And please welcome Rowena Mendoza, Project Director of IFEX Philippines and Department Manager of the Center for International Trade Expositions and Missions, or CITEM. Hi, Rowena. May we call you Rowena?
Just call me Weng.
Weng! Okay.
Po.
We're so
Good evening
happy
po.
to know that, CITEM, a government agency, is embracing sustainability. Tell us what led to this. It's quite an infant in its infancy yet, no?
Yes, correct, Ses. Initially, it was conceptualized because we are holding the IFEX Philippines, or the International Food Exhibition. And we were trying to look into another event that will be supporting the food industry as well. And that was way back in 2019 when we conceptualized the Sustainability Solutions Exchange. And this is to support the food industry in terms of going green and implementing their green practices in their manufacturing operations.
So far, ano pong, let's say I am an MSM or maybe even small SME.
Yes. Yeah.
Anong tulong ang mabibigay ninyo sa akin?
In terms of the Sustainability Solutions Exchange, because this is a platform, or this is a B2B platform that we are able to connect. The purchasers and the SMEs, and then also bringing to them the awareness and also the knowledge sharing, because right now, you mentioned nga po na infant pa siya, marami pang hindi alam. Even the companies themselves, minsan hindi nila alam na they're already going green, because there are certain levels of yung going green. Yung meron yung low investment or no investment at all. So this is our simple ways of yung mga reducing lang yung mga waste, or in terms of yung sa kanilang yung sa ilaw, or yung mga conservation lang ng kanilang mga energy and mga electricity. So that's low or no investment at all. But there are also some SMEs na meron silang low investment na they are able to purchase na lang yung change of their lighting or change their certain manufacturing operations. Pero meron din po yung mga high investment na kaya na nila talagang mag-change ng totally yung manufacturing operations nila or machineries.
Like we had Lionheart, which was your participant on the show during IFEX. And they're a leading company in sustainability.
Yes, because they have this community. They are into sustainability because they are working towards the community or helping the community itself. And Lionheart is a coconut producer. So yun po yung nila that they are working on yung kanilang, even their production itself. So looking into that yung protecting the environment and protecting the industry as well.
Maraming aspects yung sustainability with Lionheart. But let's try to laymanize it, knowing para lang mas madali i-visualize. Example, si Ses, gumagawa siya may ginagawa siyang mga bomb, gano'n, di ba? Gusto niyang, kumbaga, i-level up yung pagkakasustainable ng kanyang production, pwede siya pumunta doon sa platform ninyo and maghanap siya ng mga gumagamit ng recycled plastic containers only. Ganun po ba? Is that how it works?
How do we...
Yung platform kasi po, so there's yung Sustainability Solutions Exchange is a B2B platform. It's an exhibition. So this was integrated this year as a physical event in IFEX Philippines.
But there's a digital aspect also.
Yes, there's a digital IFEX, digital iteration ito po, yung platform, which is sustainability.ph. So we conceptualized that also during the pandemic, that we introduced din yung mga putting all in that platform, yung mga mga products or companies that are into sustainability or yung mga green practices and yung mga sustainability solutions.
So right now, Weng, what would you say is the biggest barrier or challenge to achieving sustainable solutions? Is it still the high costs?
Yes, actually, for the manufacturers, it's really the high cost because medyo, yun nga sinabi ko po, that there is a tendency na talagang you have to change the way you manufacture your products. So merong mga ganun. And also yung waste management, you have to take a look at it. Sa food industry kasi po, yung even the packaging itself, there's a certain time na kailangan mo rin i-change siya because lalo na yung
Styro.
plastics, styro, plastics, and sa food kasi nga, di ba, we can say that Philippines is a sachet economy. So talagang maliliit na mga and of course sa household yan lagi, lalo na sa mga bata. So yun ang contributory to the pollution. So yung mga ganong mga industries po, yun ang challenges natin ngayon. So nagkakaroon ngayon ng climate change, yung resource scarcity. So even ngayon yung kakaroon tayo ng mga yun nga po, yung sa packaging and yung packaging and waste management, yun ang talagang challenge ngayon ng mga industries.
May mga suppliers pa ng sustainable packaging na proudly Philippine-made, Philippine-sourced lahat ng mga raw materials niya? May ganun na ba?
Meron naman po. For time, meron po tayong mga companies na talagang yung sustainable na yung mga products nila. I could say na like of course yung yung sa bamboo, well, I can say na yung isang bambuhay, yung kanyang mga bamboo products. Yun po. So, meron din siyang parang bicycle na bambike. So, yun yung mga working.
Parang models, you would say.
Yan.
How would you define, first of all, sustainability?
It's something na yung product mo has to be yung kanyang lifespan, pwedeng hindi yung talagang recycled siya, or there is a circular economy na umiikot lang siya, na hindi siya nag-stack doon sa na yon. Di ba may mga products na nandun na siya, so it's already staying, that stays in the environment, na nagiging na siya, waste. But if it's circular economy, ibig sabihin umiikot yung produkto mo na even the waste materials are recycled or used or reused or repurposed.
Do you have to apply to be a part of SSX? And parang sino yung nag-check na, okay, pasado ka, hindi ka pasado, palitan mo muna to before ka pumasa?
Meron kaming sa sustainability.ph, which is a platform or a website na in-enroll namin yung mga companies. We try to get to know kung ano yung mga areas from that that we find them as a sustainable company. So if the product ba is sustainable in terms of yung kanyang lifespan. Kasi if meron namang mga sustainable na it can kumbaga more than 20 years, 30 years, pwede naman yung yun, that can be sustainable. But there are also in terms of their community-based mga production. So, pwedeng dun din naman na din yun. So, sa
anong tulong
environment,
po ang binibigay ninyo aside from connection? May training ba?
well, sa training, yes, we try to, we had just had a convention or a conference. That is, ang theme po natin doon is Green Innovations, navigating the yung sustainability solutions to future-proof the food industry. So yung mga, because we have that na
So it really is more focused on food?
For this sector, for this IFEX, it's on the food, for food.
Next year, anong plano?
Meron po kaming for Manila Fame. That is for the home
So
sector.
this is for home accessories, furniture.
Yes, so there we will also have that integrated into Manila Fame for the sustainability solutions.
So sustainability solutions applies to various industries, sectors.
So it depends ang programa po namin is cut across all sectors. Nagkakataon lang po na for IFEX, because it's a food exhibition, so integrated to food. Yung sa naman po Manila Fame, sa Fame naman po, or ating home sector, or for the lifestyle sector naman po
So
siya.
what other industries could you possibly tap as you scale your business?
For the meantime po, yun po, food and home and lifestyle, because that's the sectors that we are into right now. But eventually, kasi like now for industrial goods sector, mayroon din po tayong, as mentioned nga po, meron tayong mga e-vehicles and also yung ating mga renewable energies. So yun yung mga in the future that we will be able to expand yung ating
So, gano'n na yung SciTem ngayon?
Ano po?
May monetary assistance, I wanted to ask. Meron ba?
Ay, pa ho yan. We're trying to work on that because like, of course, ang sustainability, ang meron din po dyan na suppose ang plan natin, or ang vision natin is that to support the industries to lower down their cost. Kasi di ba anything medyo sustainable or green, mahal.
Parang mahal.
Oo, so yung hindi siya affordable. So yun yung wish natin that eventually it will scale down the cost and it makes it affordable to all the ating mga mga consumers.
O sige, kailan po yung FAME?
Ang FAME is October 17 to 15 to 17.
So we hope to see sustainable companies that apply sustainable solutions.
Especially for, well, yung mga pinyapel or yung mga bakong or yung mga fibers. That's what we will be offering.
But for now, we can check out sustainability.ph.
Yes.
Yung po, doon namin makikita yung mga programa.
Yes po.
Thank you so much,
Salamat
Weng.
po, Ms.
That was Weng Mendoza, who is Director of IFEX Department Manager of SITEN. Did I get that right? Thank you so much.
criticized the possible use of the MTRCB as a cash cow or moneymaker in its incursion into streaming platforms. The MTRCB has slammed this particular comment, saying it is unfair and a baseless claim. The MTRCB went on to say that its mandate is to protect the public, especially children, from harmful content, and that to describe this mandate as profit-driven is both misleading and disrespectful. Meantime, at the House of Representatives, lawmakers are pushing to regulate social media platforms like Meta by having them secure a franchise before they can operate in the country. This was raised in the House Tri-Committee hearing against the spread of fake news. PCO Secretary Jay Ruiz and Information and Communications Secretary Henry Aguda said during the hearing that it is the responsibility of social media platforms to fact-check their content. But until now, social media platforms have failed to do so. Ruiz says it's time the government steps in.
Supposedly may self-regulation on their community standards. Sila po ang nagbigay ng standards. It has to be the government who should give those standards. Kasi nungalingan na pinapakalat nila. So dapat, doon pa lang, ang platform should be accountable. Ikaw ang nagpakalat ng fake news. Kayo. Hindi nyo nilinis
Pag tinanong nyo po lahat ng mga platform ngayon, hihingi sila ng batas Nung nakausap ko sila kahapon, sabi, ano ba yung solusyon? Pag tinanong nyo pala sila ngayon, sasabihin nila, they need regulation. They want the government to put up a law to regulate them. So sila mismo, gusto nilang ma-regulate mismo
And if you've ever climbed Mount Kamuning just to cross EDSA, guys, relief is on the way. Our big picture tonight is President Bongbong Marcos ordering the Transportation Department to dismantle that towering footbridge along EDSA or across EDSA. That structure was built in 2018 and has been criticized for being pedestrian unfriendly. The 9-meter-high footbridge is so steep that hikers have even made it as a destination worth conquering and a topic of many, many reels.
Yay! Summit! Yay!
Now, according to DOTR Secretary Vince Dizon, a more commuter-friendly bridgeway will be created in Mount Kamuning's place. This new structure will feature elevators and will be directly connected to the GMA Kamuning busway. Dizon clarified, though, that the current Kamuning Bridge will not be torn down until the new bridgeway is up.
So kaya naman pala ng ibang design rather than what was first presented na, di ba? Parang
It was really high.
It was really
parang,
high.
paano kung PWD ka?
Pero that can be built without affecting the EDSA traffic.
I doubt it, but
But anyway, that's welcome news. Let's not.
It was part of the mall tour of last Sunday of di ba umikot si PBBM when the first family and Secretary Vince.
Pinuntahan niya.
Kasi nag-stop sila dun sa MRT station. Then you can see it, it's right there.
all right, and that's it for us this Thursday evening. Thank you so much for watching The Big Story.
We are One News, all sides, all the time.
We're back here tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. We'll see you then. Have a good night, everyone.
Coming up next, though, play-by-play with Andre Felix and Cheska Liton Calao.
Akala ko po usapan natin tayong lima.
Well,
magaganto.
Hindi mo ba nakuha yung memo?
Hindi ko ba nakita? Tingnan niyo from here.
Wait.
Sabi ko, akala mo si Ces lang yun, si Cheska lang may cape pa.
In honor of the one and only Ces Jerlon, sa
Yes.
napag-usapan natin, I had to wear the cape before I go on leave tomorrow. So,
Wala din si Pawi
may nakikisabay pala sa akin.
Actually, ang ganda kay Ces, ganda sa'yo. Sa akin, mukha ako naka-costume eh.
To be fair, Cheska sa'yo ba yan?
No,
kay Pawi.
So, pwede na pala kayo mag-share ng wardrobe.
Masikip ka.
Andre, raise your arm.
Mapunit kanina eh.
Kaya, wait, wag, baka mapunit. Kaya ba? Mataas yun.
Hindi, wala lang. I just wanted to show you. Next time, sabay-sabay tayong lima.
Well, I thought kasi if all of us were wearing a cape, it would look kind of ridiculous. Okay lang na ikaw lang.
Ako lang yung magmukhang ridiculous.
Pero
Thank you,
this is why Cheska's the best partner kasi sinabayan ka niya. Yeah.
Okay, nag-enjoy lang ako. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Andre.
Ayun lang.
Thank you, Cheska,
Thank
for
you.
inspiring this look.
Fashion trend.
Thank you. Parang I'm your entertainment every night. But thank you once again to the big story, to Cesar Vilon, to Sean Yao, and to Pauline Verzosa on our show tonight. They can't stop laughing, Check. Neither can you. We've got a preview, tatanggalin ito. We've got a preview of the NBA Finals, which will begin tomorrow. Plus, we tell you about a new format to next year's NBA All-Star Game.
We also tell you about volleyball star Michelle Cobb's decision to retire after a short but memorable